I don't know why this seems like it's some big secret, but I want to teach you guys about the math behind the Rocket League ranking system, how it works, and for those of us who feel like we're hard stuck, how to exploit that math and finally get to the rank that you feel like you actually deserve. Now, this ain't anything illegal. You're not going to get banned for this. This is all within Rocket League's terms of service. It's just that most people don't understand that there's more to the math here than just winning more games than you lose. So Rocket League's ranks are an ELO-based rating system. ELO systems were first developed for chess by RPAD ELO. Rocket League's ELO rating system is called MMR, Matchmaking Rating. And for each win or loss, you'll gain a few or lose a few points. The amount of those points depends essentially on two things. The first of which is pretty clear, and it's just how good your opponents were. Usually you're matched up against similar opponents, so this number is pretty stagnant for that category. But the second thing that affects this number is a little bit less obvious. It's the system's trust in your rank. Now, you'll see this really often at the start of a new season. You kind of need Bacchus-Mod to actually see what your actual MMR is. But if you have it, you'll notice you're gaining a lot more and losing a lot more for each of your wins or losses. This is because the system kind of dropped everyone down and wants to have them all prove that they belong where they should be. The idea for this whole video and the trust concept came from a developer in Valorant who explained their rating system like this.
We know you're gold, why don't we place you there? We actually don't know if you're gold. We kind of have an idea of where you belong, but we need you to play lots of matches in order to confirm that. We have something called variance, which is our confidence in your MMR, and it's kind of confidence in rank as well. That variance gets more confident the more matches you play. The rank system should be about finding your exact rank of skill. We do that by asking you to play 20 to 40 games each episode.
Now, most ELO systems do this, and once you've played enough games where you're generally like winning and losing the same amount of games, then the system is like, all right, our boy is clearly plat 2, so we're gonna keep him in there unless he like does something super fancy and proves to us that he should be like plat 3, maybe diamond 1. Oh, and before you get started, plats, I know flip resets are fancy, but the Rocket League ranking system doesn't mean fancy like that. I mean fancy in a different way. You gotta do something extraordinary and make the system lose its trust in your rank. And that's where the process comes in. Now, this is basically a 3-step process to trick the ranking system into believing that you don't actually belong in the rank that you're currently in. Now, you still need to be legitimately better than the rank you deserve for you to actually get to that rank. But you can still make this work if you're actually like training and actively getting better during this process. And I'll explain when and how to do that as we get into this. First one is most simple, and we kind of talked about it already, is to take a break. We gotta reset that trust factor. Waiting till next season will usually do the trick, but for most ELO-based systems, if you take a pretty long break, the system will still kind of be unsure if you still belong where you are, because in general, the player base's skill changes a lot. So when you come back to the game, they're like, all right, we don't know if the player base has gotten better or maybe worse, and so we are gonna give this person a little bit more leeway when they play to see if they actually belong in this rank still. Now, I don't actually want you to take a break from the game. Let's be honest, we all know we're very addicted. But I'll get into what you're doing during this break so that you can still actually play the game in a sec. This will allow you to gain more from your wins and also lose a little bit more from your losses. My first method for doing that is 6-mans. If you are on the PC and you have a headset and a microphone, 6-mans is really cool if you haven't heard of it. It's basically like a secondary Rocket League ranking system that's done all on a separate website. All of the pros are on this website. Actually, a lot of like semi-pros probably play more 6-mans than they do actual Rocket League rank because that ranking system is a bit more competitive. Unfortunately, you can't play on this if you're like below diamond, I think, but I would check this out. It's a great way for you to still be competitive, still get that training in, but not actually play ranked on your account so that the system will reset its trust. I'm gonna say reset its trust probably way too much in this video, so if someone wants to count how many times I did it and put it down below, I'd love to see that. Number 2, just play with friends. If you can find some people to play non-ranked games with, whether it's casuals or even like in-house, like 3v3s for fun, that's a great way to still be playing the game, but not be playing ranked. 3 is play another game mode that you don't normally play, like if you're twos main, then play a bunch of threes or play a bunch of ones so that you can still get your ranked competitive fix in, but you're not actually affecting the rank that you actually care about. Number 4, play on a second account. I know I've kind of bashed Smurfs a lot, but I don't think it's a bad thing, and I personally have an alt account, to have another account that's about the same rank as you are. I can go into a lot of depth on this, and I will in a future video, but essentially it's totally within Psyonix's rules to have 2 separate accounts as long as you're trying to win when you play. Smurfing is a problem, especially for Psyonix, when you're actively trying to lose and like ruining the ranking system for everyone else. Having 2 accounts that you always try on that end up being around the same rank anyways, that's not a Smurf and that's not against the rules for Psyonix. Number 5, very simply, is spend more time training than you do playing. And I'm not gonna go into like how to train. I have plenty of videos on that. There are plenty of other people who have lots of great videos on that as well. But again, we're trying to prove that we're way better than the rank that we're currently at. So we really have to get there if we're not there already. What I will say is probably the most important thing you can do in this session is really identify where your weak points are, and the best way to do that is to watch replays of yourself. If you can't figure out what your problems are, have a friend watch, someone higher ranked than you, or just grab a coach like myself. Number 2 is outdo yourself and reduce variance. Once you finally come back from your break, I want you to start with a very specific mindset. That if you want to be the rank above you, or 2 ranks or 3 ranks above you, you have to have no respect for that rank. And to do this, part 2 of this whole outdo yourself is to get carried. Now, I don't mean actually getting carried. Again, I told you all of these are perfectly legal. Don't arrest me, Psyonix. Wait, let me finish. These are all legal ways to do this. I want you to play some ranked games, and during your ranked games, pay attention to your teammates or even your opponents, and try to find someone who seems like they're playing a bit better than your normal teammates are. Once you find that person, I want you to get on your knees and beg as hard as you can for them to queue with you and play the next game, or play a few games with them and hopefully win a little bit more. Obviously, you can just ask them normally. I've very often found people in my ranked games that were pretty good, and I was like, hey bro, you want to queue up a few times? And they're like, hell no, you suck. And the times when they do say yes, it's gonna be a lot better than just queuing and trying to hope that your teammate is competent or not competent. You know that you're getting someone who's pretty good, or at least a little bit better than the average teammate that you get. And that's gonna help you reduce variance in your games so that you win a little bit more. But that is gonna lead me to the 3rd one, which is get on a win streak. Obviously, I know I need to win more games, bro. Like, that doesn't help me at all. But there's a very specific art to getting on a win streak. And there's a huge difference between winning 3 games in a row and like playing a few games where you win and a few games where you lose and being up net 3 games. That's not as good as winning 3 games in a row. And so let me teach you the art of reducing variance and winning multiple games in a row. The first one is kind of an overlap from the last one. You gotta find teammates that are just a little bit better than your average rank. The next one is really important, and I know people say this a lot, but I think this will hit you a little bit harder when you realize why this is so important. And that is, you need to warm up before you play ranked. Again, I know you've heard that a lot, but the idea is that we don't want to have any bad games if we are trying to prove to the ranking system that we are better than it actually thinks we are. And that means warming up. There's plenty of great warm-up routines. Like, I think I have a video on it somewhere, and if I do, I'm gonna put it right here. I love making YouTube videos, man. But generally speaking, the best way to warm up is to do some free play, work on something mechanical that you're trying to work on, and then do a casual game or 2 so that you kind of get into the swing of actually having teammates again and hitting the ball with a purpose, and then play your ranked games. But that gets me to the next point, is that if you don't feel like you're playing very well, let's say you did your warm up, you did your casual games, and it just didn't feel extraordinary, then don't play ranked. Either play again casual, just keep playing casual, or go onto your alt account and play on that one. That's the beauty of having this alt account, is when you don't feel like you're at your peak, that you don't play ranked on your main account. And finally, the other thing you can do is essentially just always start on your alt account, see how you're feeling. Once you've gotten warmed up and once you know that you're playing like above where you need to be, then you can switch over to your main account. Okay, let me know if you're chill with this new format where it's just a little bit more intimate. I'm just talking to you guys, just getting the knowledge out, no fancy graphics. You guys are more mature than that. You don't need like crazy editing to keep your attention span. I know my audience is smarter than the average YouTube audience, right? YouTube is hard and this educational stuff doesn't get as many views, but I'm gonna try to pump these out because I enjoy it. So let me know if you guys enjoy it as well in the comments. Them comments, you know, they help me get more views anyways, so you know, help a boy out. But thanks for watching and go practice.